Hi guys, thanks for joining me and welcome to the first video that I've filmed sitting on my new pink sofa. It's not actually positioned in an easy place to film because of the way the light falls, but hopefully it will be alright. So yeah, welcome to the next in my alphabet series. I will link the playlist of the other ones if you've missed them up there. And we are on letter C, and I'm going to talk about changes, loosely about changes. It just happened that that was what I wanted to talk about. What I feel like talking about doesn't always fit in with the letter. So today is about changes and the big change that's coming up in our life, which is William leaving home potentially in September. Not counting my chickens yet because we're still getting through A-levels at the moment. Counting my chickens was possibly the wrong expression to use there, but we shall see. Yeah, changes, and change is a difficult thing, isn't it, for a lot of us, I think. I think it's, as human beings, we kind of like our comfort zone, and we like things to be as they've always been. And I think sometimes it's quite difficult to deal with change of any type, and I know that in the past I've always not done particularly well with change. I like things as they are. I'm very much quite steady and not a big risk taker, and change always feels a little bit unnerving. But in the last sort of 10 years or so, I think I've changed, and I can't even really put my finger on why, but I've become far more embracing of change generally. I've changed my whole career in the last 10 years. We've taken some big risks and had changes with where we live, all sorts of different things really, and it's touch wood, where is some wood, the leg of the sofa, that will do, touch wood, it's all the change has been positive. And I think if you can just reframe your mind to maybe look at the potential when some change is facing you, I think that really helps. I found it difficult to think of what I was going to say in this video because I haven't got any sort of specific examples or top tips or anything like that for dealing with change, but just in my own experience. And I think maybe it's important to learn to embrace change, because change is how we grow and how things happen and how we make ourselves happier. Essentially, we're all struggling, not struggling, but you know, if you've got what you consider a happy life, you're lucky, aren't you? That's great. And but some of us sort of feel that if things were a little bit different, we would be happier and more content in our lives. And reaching for that change and sort of embracing it, I keep using the word embrace, don't I, but sort of reaching for that change and making it happen can only be a forward movement, if that makes sense. I didn't make notes for this and I feel like it's all a bit scattered, but I kind of know what I'm saying. But I just wanted to talk about more specifically my thoughts on what's changing. And I've always been quite a negative person. My natural state is glass half full, not half empty at all. And just trying to change that round in my mind has been a bit of a struggle, but something that I feel I've got better at in the last couple of years. My gut reaction, I think, will always be a negative one, but I'm getting better at reframing that very quickly into more of a, well, hang on a minute, let's look at this. Let's see what other way we can look at this and see if there's a more positive side to it. And I'm finding that that's really helpful in dealing with loads of different situations, not just change. But so just that sort of almost taking a minute and gathering myself and thinking, hang on, let's look at this more positively. And I've got quite a lot of challenges going on in my life. So it could be for challenges as well, couldn't it? Got quite a lot of challenges going on in my life at the moment that are difficult and not easily resolved and ongoing, and just looking at the positive side of things can help me, really does help me get through them and deal with them more positively and better, and in a way that makes me happier with what's going on, I guess. So just taking those few minutes to look and reframe and see things from a different perspective, I think really helps. But moving on to the change that I put in the title of this video, the whole I was prompted to talk about this by a couple of comments on my last alphabet video. I love all the engagement from you guys, by the way, on these videos. I think talking about these subjects is really bringing some interesting stuff into the comments, so I always look forward to see what you guys are going to write about. But yeah, the whole empty nest syndrome, it's a thing that is coming to me very soon, no doubt, one way or another. And although it's not a permanent change immediately, because the plan is that William goes to university in September, October this year, and obviously we'll still be coming home for holidays, but there will be long periods of time where it's just me and Ashley rattling around this big old house all by ourselves. I've talked before about how I think it's important to keep your identity as a person and not just let yourself get swallowed up in that whole I'm a mother, being a mother is what I do thing. Nothing wrong with being a mother and enjoying it at all, I should just say there. But I do think it's important to keep a sense of identity and to keep things going for yourself that are yours, your hobbies, your social life, your independence as far as financial situations go. I do think all of that is quite important, at least it is to me. And I think that is something that will help me deal with the fact that William's going. You know, that will make it easier. I do have all those things in place. I have a social life independent of Ashley. I have my own hobbies. I have lots of things that I do that are mine already. I have my own identity, if you like. And I think that's quite important in dealing with sort of the empty nest thing. The other thing is that Ashley and I both went to university ourselves. It was Polytechnic in those days. We both went to Polytechnic. We're not as bright as Will. And we both have absolutely fantastic student years, really enjoyed them. So it's quite exciting for us that Will is going off to be a student and have that whole student experience. And I think he'll just love it. I think it will be brilliant for him, and he's really going to enjoy it. And so that is quite exciting. You know, that's sort of the positive side of him leaving home that we're really thrilled about, him having the opportunity to go and do this, even though it costs a lot more than when we went and did it. It was all free back in our day. You know, there was no tuition fees. In fact, you got a grant from the government. The government paid you to go to university. How times change in 30 years. God, 30 years. So yeah, there's that positive aspect of it. And then other positive aspects, I won't come home from a couple of days away and find the house trashed and washing up everywhere. And teenagers are intrinsically selfish, aren't they, for the most part, and very untidy. And you know, that they'll shove more stuff into a bin rather than go and take the bin bag out. Mind you, Ashley does that as well. So, you know, that the whole not having to tidy up after a full-grown adult will actually be quite nice. But obviously we will miss him. The other thing is that I am a worrier, and when Will goes out for the evening, I worry about him until he's home. If I will manage to go off to sleep usually, although not always. But if I wake up at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, I've had a few times, I woke up at 2 o'clock once, went and checked to see if he was in his room, and he wasn't, and he said he'd be home by midnight. So that was a horrible time, but he's generally very good at texting or calling if he's not going to be home when he says he will, because he knows I worry. So he's a good boy like that. But not having that worry when he's out for the evening will actually be quite nice, because I won't know if he's out, will I? Because he's halfway up the country somewhere else. So I will worry about it, of course, but not specific, you know. Just general parental worry. Is he eating properly? That type of thing. Not is he dead in a ditch because he's 2 hours late home type of thing. So yeah, I think the whole message for me on the empty nest thing coming and changes generally is to, if you are a negative person and if you do struggle to see the good side of change or of a particular situation, just stop and try and reframe it in your mind a little bit and see the good side more if you can, or see an alternative viewpoint. Perhaps that has really helped me. But yeah, the other thing I just wanted to say about kids leaving home is that when our kids are leaving home and going on to the next part of their lives, wherever, whether they're moving into a rented flat or going off to be a student or whatever, or moving in with a partner, I think it's a sign, you know, the positive side of it is it's a sign of a job well done. We've brought up our children, we've done our best, hopefully, at bringing them up into and producing a nice new person, adult, full, well-rounded adult to go into the world, and they've got their wings and they're going, aren't they? So, yeah, I think if you look at it like that, it's kind of nice, isn't it? It's the end of an era, but the beginning of a new one. And of course, the final thing that I've just thought of, the washing, the laundry is going to be amazing, because I swear to God, every time William puts on a piece of clothing, even if it's only for an hour, rather than take it off and put it away, just shoves it in the laundry. The amount of laundry I do, I can't even tell you. And on that note, I think we'll finish here. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Tell me about your thoughts on change generally and empty nest syndrome and kids leaving home. Always love to see what you guys are going to write in the comments. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.